did bring
Good evening, Auburn. My name is Robert Wilkins, and this is Citizens Minutes, 16th edition. It has been a beautiful, sunny winter day on the plains of Auburn. We had a total of 12 citizens and the developer Tom Haley speak at a public hearing concerning North Donahue Farmville Development on a 13-acre area. While 3 citizens spoke at the Open Citizens Forum, 2 citizens spoke on their anxiety concerning funding of education on the federal level, while 1 citizen spoke about the slow progress of Lake Wilmore recreational facilities.
Under ordinances this evening, item 9A is a request to rezone approximately 13.74 acres of property located at the southeast corner of the North Donahue Drive and West Farmville Road intersection from rural to comprehensive development district. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its January 9th meeting. Unanimous consent is necessary and a public hearing is required.
Hey, my name's Tom Haley. I'm the developer of the project. I have about 30 years of history with this project. Been doing this 45 years, built 60 roads in Auburn, 150 restaurants. We landlord 35. 16 years of going to Planning Commission meetings without missing one, followed by City Council meetings without missing one. The traffic was first. Buffer. During this process, we were informed in our meetings with planning staff that there would be a 15 or 20-foot buffer required. We went to 25. Quality. The grocery is what we're after building. It's 30,000 square feet. Our map shows the possibility, our survey, of a 60,000 foot grocer and strip. Okay, 4,000 foot of shops on one side, 6,000 on the other, 30,000 foot of grocery. It's going to give some open space in the back with the 30-foot buffer. Done a lot of these things, done subdivisions around them. I don't know a grocery store that doesn't have housing around it. Kroger, we did the subdivision behind Kroger before it was expanded. Lots behind houses, behind Winn-Dixie on South College, and Hickory Woods behind the University Crossing subdivision. It's compatible. Your ordinance controls that. Your ordinance is very, very strict, very technical. There's FAR ratios, floor area ratio, that will help design that buffer. Size. Today, I got some phone calls late this afternoon about size it down. We're at 112,800 feet on right under 14 acres. If you look at that ratio, as it stands, and we won't ever build all of that, okay? That's at 8233 square feet per acre. The 2-acre shopping center that's approved, fixing to start just to the east of this, so it's got a ratio of 10,000 square feet, or 10,600 per acre. So we're below that. You have approved other shopping centers in that area, 2 to the east, 1 to the west. We want to fit in as we can.
Examples I've shown have been the most intrusive developments in the city and have the buffer and setback 2 to 4 times as great as this proposal. Section 102.11 of the city zoning ordinance states the purpose of this ordinance is the promotion of health, safety, general welfare of the present and future inhabitants of Auburn by protecting landowners from adverse impacts of adjoining developments. It is obvious that this development will have high impact on adjoining properties and must be rejected as is. Do we need 400 parking spaces in such a small neighborhood shopping area? The Publix on Gay Street is sitting on a pad of asphalt 330 feet from front to back. Glendine Shopping Center, 71,000 square feet, is 370 feet from road to property line. With 470 feet to work with, either of those developments could be placed behind my house and I would have more than 100 feet of buffer.
So development on this corner is inevitable. We get that. I accept that. And while some of my neighbors don't necessarily accept that, we're willing to work with the developer and the city in this development. So given that, we share the final concern, which is aesthetics, and I share the concern about buffering as well. So what we're really concerned about is what this development is going to look like. We're concerned that we're going to be stuck with a bunch of plain brick, flat roof buildings with zero curb appeal. We're concerned about the landscaping and whether it will be kept as beautiful compared to our neighborhood. This corner has a neighborhood feel, and we don't want that to get crushed by ugly commercial development.
Nor is there any development that would develop a strip mall on a single road. The precedent has been here for years and years. And I have it, written down here. It's, if we look at the strip malls that we have in the city, they're all on major roads. They are not surrounded by housing. So we understand that. This development is on a single road, it's on a rural road, and it's surrounded by development on all four sides. So if we went by precedent, you would immediately say, well, of course you can't develop a strip mall on a single road, rural road, and there's no strip malls in the city on a single road in a rural area that's surrounded totally by homeowners.
You have to balance your uses. Otherwise, this is a high-traffic retail complex. That's not a neighborhood node. In my mind, in my opinion, this fails on meeting all of the attributes for a neighborhood node. I would make one request, and my last request in my email, notwithstanding the admonishments by Mayor Anders, I would recommend that if the council does approve this, that contingencies be placed, that all properties owned by this development corporation or individual be annexed into the city of Auburn as a contingency for that approval. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
In the neighborhood was right across the street from the houses that bordered the neighborhood. Now, I'm not affected by this in this manner, but I know the people that are around there will be. What we saw and what we heard and what we smelled was horrible. The dumpsters that are behind these businesses have to be emptied. And you have trucks coming in at all hours to empty these dumpsters. The truck is loud enough as it is. The buffer that we had was anywhere from 50 to 100 feet, and it was heavily wooded. You couldn't even walk through it, it was so wooded. So the dump trucks would come through, they'd empty it. As soon as they let the dumpster down, it sounded like a 5-car wreck was happening right in your front yard. On top of that, the smell from the dumpsters was horrible.
I live just down the road from this development in the Auburn University Club neighborhood. And bringing Renfro's Market to Auburn is not just a business decision for me. It's personal. I do not take lightly the responsibility of putting my name on something, making a financial commitment of this size, or ensuring the livelihoods and financial well-being of our future and current employees, which right now total over 350. So my goal is to create something that my family and the surrounding community that can be proud of. As an independent grocer, we always strive to give back to the communities that we service, and we treat our customers with a thankful attitude and exceptional customer service. So I hope that Renfro's Market will be given the chance to become part of the Auburn community. And we can bring a grocery store that the people in the surrounding neighborhoods and my family personally can be proud to shop at. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. that we are, we are planning to expand both Donahue and Farmville Road, and to have construction going on at the intersection at the same time that construction is underway will be a big burden for those of us who do live north of the intersection as we are trying to get to Auburn. During the previous construction that I mentioned, it took us over 15 minutes to get into Auburn, and there were serious concerns about emergency vehicles being able to reach our neighborhood in a timely manner. So that's something that I wanted to bring to the council's attention, as well as this is the youngest of my 3 children, and a concern that I do have is that the property does abut the Woodland Pines Elementary School, and the type of businesses that can be put into this neighborhood development is something that I am particularly concerned about having addressed by the city council. What do you want to say? You say hi. Hi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Additionally, there's no real need for more commercial space in this area. We already have a Dollar General just down the road. Walmart is very convenient and close, as is Publix. And then there's a strip mall on Shug Jordan right next to Walmart. For any of our commercial needs, we already have ready access. The proposed rezoning does not promise high-quality job opportunities, making an unnecessary disruption to homeowners without meaningful economic benefits. This proposed change will only lower property values in the surrounding neighborhoods. Other residents near me share my sentiments that part of the appeal of the area is the rural feel. This rezoning would completely disrupt the appeal of the area. None of the residents want this property to be frequented by the commercial traffic or for the intersection to become more congested than it already is. I share the concerns about buffering and aesthetics that have been brought up by other residents. Keeping the zoning as is will help preserve traffic flow, safety for the surrounding schools, and the integrity of the neighborhood. I ask you to please vote no to reject rezoning. Thank you.
I could stand here and talk all night about I don't want the light pollution, the smells, the noise, the traffic, the crime that will, if it goes through, it will be delivered to my front door. All of those things. But I won't dwell on that. Tonight, I just implore you to do your part as that critical piece of civil governance, to represent the collective voices that you hear tonight. And how many people are here in favor of this construction? How many people are here opposed to it? These are your constituents. I just ask you to remember to represent them, represent me, vote as they would vote, as we would vote, and that vote is no. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm a retired school teacher. My home, I plan on living there until I die. It's important to me. It's paid for. I can't move. It's paid for. I'm old. I don't want to move. I don't want this in my backyard, and I don't see why it has to be in my backyard. I mean, I will see it. As soon as I walk in my front yard, I will see this. I will smell it. I'll hear it. I'm the second house, so I will see it. I shouldn't have to put up with that in my yard. This is Auburn, the loveliest village on the plains. This should not become the ugliest village on the plains.
Plan to stay in Auburn for a long time. Rezoning this area, just like my husband said, would create a lot more problems than benefits to our community. We've lived at that house for 2 years. It's the first home we've ever owned. One of the biggest reasons why we chose that area was the aesthetics. It was quiet, and so I also share the concerns about the buffering problems. All of the construction that's happening on Donahue and Shug Jordan already impacts my way to Auburn University, and then having it closer to our home, opening those lanes, I don't even want to know how long that's going to take, how much noise that's going to add to the community. I want all of our home prices, and I know we've spoken to our neighbors, to increase, and there's a real worry that these home prices, especially the ones very close to these businesses, are going to decrease.
We discussed the future for that property there, and he said, you know, as far as he could tell, it was just going to be neighborhood, for neighborhood. So far, we've been real happy living there. And, he had talked with us about over the years how it would probably progress and building, what building would be like. And I'm glad to see it, and I want to see it stay like that.
Okay. Lindsay with the roll call.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Norman,
No, ma'am.
Parsons,
No.
Taylor,
No.
Witten,
No.
Adams,
Yes.
Koblenz,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Anders.
No.
All right, that motion fails, and therefore, it did not carry an affirmative vote. So from a rezoning standpoint, with the CDD item failing, that will remove item 9A2.
We were told it would be available this past June, and here it is, 7, 8 months later, whatever it is, and it's still not open. I understand the basketball court is open, but the fitness room is not open, and the pool is not open. And the pickleball courts aren't open yet either.
I also don't need to tell you that there's a lot of anxiety in our community right now as swift changes are being enacted at the national level that we anticipate having aftershocks here and challenging so much that we hold dear and have admittedly taken for granted. Here are just a few questions on my mind tonight. If the Department of Education is eliminated or hollowed out, will school lunch and special education programs, for instance, still be funded? And will the 31% of Auburn University students who use FAFSA to secure federal loans still be able to afford an Auburn degree?
Also wondering, in light of the considerable changes happening at the federal level, how the city is planning to address the potential effects on our community if 35% of AU students who receive federal student aid, what sort of economic impact should we anticipate if those funds are delayed or canceled? Does the city anticipate any job losses in the manufacturing sector due to tariffs on aluminum and steel?
Citizens' questions. Kerry asked, I have never seen the City Council vote down a unanimous decision that was made by the Auburn Planning Commission. Well, Kerry, I assume it's happened before, but I do not recall over the 70-plus council meetings that I have attended. Mayor Pro Tem Witten stated that she had over 60 citizens contact her personally. So we citizens should learn from this, that if enough citizens speak up, you can be heard, even in Auburn. Albert Einstein once said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. Please make comments or become a guest speaker on Citizens Minutes by going to nextdoor.com or youtube.com. Your counsel is only as good as the information that you gather. Till next time.